Action, activate! Oh my gosh.
Here we come. There they go. People rise, 'cause they know we're super soldiers. We got cool clothes. You real smooth. You see our pose. Hang shit. Energize. Mask on. Time to ride. Combine. Grease ties.
Welcome back to Action Activate. I'm Gazbot, and with me as always,
Big Dawg Defender here, talking about Mystic Force number 4.
episode 4. Now, Big Dog, previously we had talked about glazing over certain episodes and not doing every single episode, but now this is the 4th episode in a row that we're apparently doing a full review for. What's the story there?
It's true. It's something that we decided that we liked these episodes. We wanted to just do a full review of each one since we had the time versus not. I'm not going to promise we're going to do this for every episode of the entire season, but for now, take what you can get. So here we are. We're on episode 4 titled
Rock Solid!
Rock Solid. And I got to say, this is a decently rock solid episode.
I liked it as well. I don't think I liked it quite as much as the last one, but I could say all 4 episodes so far, good.
Yeah. I think so far episode 3 is my favorite. Then 4, then 2, then 1.
I'm not sure beyond 3 is my favorite.
Okay.
Did I skip ahead here? Hold on a second.
I think you might have.
Yes, accidentally. Okay, let's
What's this guy doing? Who let him in charge? So rock solid. So this one, we ended the last episode with the villains going, "Oh, the evil master of evil. I don't know what his deal is." And
his eye. This opening is awesome. It's
Yes.
got like this blue filter. It's legitimately scary. Like it's a horror. It's like, what's going on? Ah! It's the beginning of a Twilight Zone episode.
I was going to say that or X-Files. It reminded me of X-Files.
Absolutely.
I hated this part.
This is the most like generic Power Rangers. Hey, look, we're all young people having fun kind of that they seem to have in every season. And here it is, you know, but we've had a minimal amount of it. Now, you notice that girl, I think her name is Lily or Lili or whatever, that showed up at the end of episode 2 is back. I don't think we started episode 3, but now she's sort of hanging around the store because she's the girl in town. Yeah, I don't love this, but it's not that bad, you know?
Yeah, I think, again, it was a thing where episode 3 did such new and progressive things, and this one's, here we are.
I like this, where he's messing with him, but he's not bullying him.
Yeah.
And this, like, you know, having worked these sort of jobs, like that kind of stuff would happen. And at the end, he actually pops him up and he makes him the count. Like, that felt very real to me. I do wish, though, that when Chip was making his jokes, he said, "I'm count, the discount count order." He should have said, "I'm the discount." That's the joke I would have wanted to hear. The discount. But anyway.
I need you to travel back roughly, 13 years and do it, or whatever the math is.
Toby, that's this guy's name. Toby hates 8-tracks. Weird.
Okay.
The vintage media store, I understand 8-tracks are not great fidelity, but like somebody might collect them. That's like if you have a vintage game store and somebody wants a Target.
Well, especially then, it's not like there were, physical media was hot back then. I don't know why you would turn most, if any, away.
I mean, I understand. I'm not advocating for how good 8-tracks are, but there's certainly people who would collect them, and it's a business.
As the resident 8-track defender, how do you think he should have handled the situation?
He should have said, "8-track, welcome aboard." I don't know. He should have just been like, "No, we don't have it." Or, "No, thank you," or something. I don't know.
You better 8-track, or you better 8-mile that 8-track and lose yourself. How was that? Better?
I don't. You tried more than I did.
Yeah.
I mean, you tried more than I did. That's what I'll say. I don't know
so
if this
half, just the ninja, no steel.
The ni, just the ni.
Okay.
Because you're like, how did I do? I'm like, nah.
Got it.
The guy in that scene we just passed, the guy comes in a hot dog, and Toby's like, "Hey, no outdoor food," and he's like, "Oh," and then he just continues to walk in with it, and she films it, and like nobody's seem to care. So that was weird.
I think nobody cares what Toby says is the vibe I'm getting.
I guess that's true. Look at the creeper in the background, the lily. She's like,
Yeah. Also, this is another episode where it's like Nick's a jerk. You had one episode not being a jerk, Nick.
yeah, but he does. That's the point. This is their growth one where now Nick has to be a little bit of a jerk and she needs to be more.
But that's the thing. 3 out of the 4 episodes we've had, Nick is a jerk.
Nick was reluctant in the beginning. He was reluctant. He didn't believe in himself. He didn't believe in others. Now he's being a jerk.
I would argue that actively turning down hero powers when there is people in active danger is being a jerk.
I don't think he was actively turning it down. I think he was incapable of allowing himself to believe. And he
Agree to disagree. I think, yep, my jerk radar is saying he was being a jerk.
Incorrect. But anyway, here we see the eye and they're talking about it. And yeah, I love their base. I love the monsters. I love the politics, everything we talked about before. Also, like somewhere in here, they talk about the burrowing monster made this base. I don't know if it was the last episode or this episode, but I love that because we don't need to know where this base came from.
Yeah.
Oh, but the huge burrowing monster made it. That makes perfect sense. Sure, why not? They made a base out of it. Just again, throwaway lines that make things make sense.
Mm-hmm. Cohesion. Oh, I like the design of that dragon-looking dude.
Is he a dragon? I wasn't sure. I thought he was like a chicken lobster.
Or that. Aren't dragons chicken lobsters?
You know what? You're right. That's so okay. That's the DNA of a dragon, chicken lobster. I guess this one would be like a rock lobster because
rock solid lobster. You know.
Yeah.
We get apparently this is a trope. She's just going to be a different animal every time.
I like the idea of her messing up, but I hope it's not always an animal. Yeah, that's a bit much. Also in that scene that we just passed. The foot soldiers, I don't know if this is the first time they were named or not, but they say Styxoids. And it occurred to me, do you know why they might be called Styxoids?
No.
The river Styx, you cross over in some mythology to death, and they look like skulls, and this is all about the underworld. So they're Styxoids. They're like the ferrymen as foot soldiers.
Ninja Steel point to you.
Thank you. I mean, I assume. I didn't look this up. It just makes sense to me.
Everything you said makes sense to me, so earn your point, sir.
Yeah.
You didn't do the hands. It's either hands or nothing.
Oh, I was excited. I wasn't going ninja.
Hands, nerf, or nothing.
Okay. I guess hands. Okay.
All right. So now we see her trying to prove everybody wrong and be spontaneous. This is Blue. And she meets a random soccer player in the.
It's a cool tree.
Yeah. Trees are, I don't want to say off-putting, but they're definitely unique setting. We're like, oh, we're at the park. And these trees that are sideways are everywhere. You're like,
it's cool looking.
But I agree, but not for a park. Like that guy's playing soccer in dirt.
I don't think he's playing. They were throwing the ball around. They weren't like having a soccer game. I don't know. I thought it was a cool looking tree. I liked that it offended.
Can you go back and see if he was playing it in the dirt?
They weren't. I thought they were just throwing around. Okay, let me go back. It's hard because they're focusing on her, not him. They're just throwing it around. It is dirt or a path or whatever it is, but they're just they're messing around with the ball. They're not.
So they're blocking a path to play sports ball. I disapprove.
That's not what's happening. It's a couple of guys. They probably either just played or gonna go play something, but they're sort of tossing it around as they walk. And he turns around and talks to her. They're not
walking paths are not the place for sports ball. People, let it be known.
I thought that the sports ball interaction was realistic as a
it was fair.
Athlete.
I just like that they're riding their magic broom cycles again and made it to this crime scene where everybody's frozen.
What is it, like a forest of stone statues?
Yeah.
I do like how she tried to get herself to go talk to him and then talk herself out of it 15 times. I think we could all relate to that.
Yeah. Again, good Sentai footage where nothing is working for physical attacks against this creature, which means how are we going to beat him if physical attacks aren't working? Good blast. I mean, this is a reasonable Sentai fight.
Yeah. I've not had any. I all the fights have been average or above for me. I have had no issue, like nothing negative about any of the fights.
Yeah.
Look at that tree. Ugh, what's going on? I can't focus. Blah, where are they?
Look at that dirt that this guy was playing sports ball on. Outrageous.
I like this part a lot too,
Yes.
because as much as they talk about her not being spontaneous and this and that, whatever, this is civilian hero mode, which is we love to see it. This is like, okay, this is why she was picked.
Yeah. Like that
awkward
she's,
handshake.
awkward about it. Very true to her character. And then right here, just everything gets flipped. She goes from it was very Clark Kent Superman to me in a
Yes.
good way.
Yes, absolutely. So get out of here. And if you look, she was like right about to morph or do like she wasn't just like get out of here. She's like, nope, too late.
Yeah.
I wonder if the actress got to keep that statue of herself. That
would be cool.
Ultimate thing to keep.
Yeah, whenever it comes to episodes like this with the tropes, I'm really surprised when the monsters are like, "Oh, you're down a ranger. What would happen if you broke the statue?
Yeah.
Why are you not trying to break the statue?
Maybe
Or steal the statue or anything relating to the statue having harm." Like, I guess they tell or the bad guys teleport away. But again, it's like, dude, like you should be playing capture the flag with the statue. Like,
yeah, you're not wrong, but I guess that'd be too horrific.
Yeah. I think if they did a thing where you're down a ranger, quick, break the statue, and then they do some spell that gives a shield, we got to get out of here, and then teleport away, I would have liked that way better.
I don't disagree.
And it still would have used the same amount of special effects.
I like how Vita's standing up for her sister here as much as like that. She's like, you don't know what you're talking about. She's awesome. Get out of here. And then to prove it, here's a video montage of her talking about how great we all are.
Yeah. Again, Nick being a jerk because you just got to be the skeptical jerk guy. That's your character trait, except in episode 3.
But using magic in a way that is not life and death and totally fine.
Yeah.
See,
this montage that she made was better than the montage we got in the show. I don't know why we didn't just do
like
that.
Real life. Just like real life. You ever see a video of a party versus the actual party? The video is always better. You edit it, you cut out the boring parts, you throw some music. Like that makes sense to me. That's actually realistic. I also like they show him doing archery and he gets the crossbow.
Yeah. Every time there's the DJing from what's Pink's name?
V or Vita, I think.
Vita, thank you. I hate it. I hate it a lot.
Well, we haven't actually seen her DJ. We've seen her up there, but we haven't seen like a bunch of people.
What I recall from when I saw bits and pieces back in the day is that was my least favorite part then, and so far it is my least favorite part now. Okay. Was the music. I just hated those specific music scenes. And when I said it early on, people were like, the music in the show is good. When they were fighting and it's choreographed like music from the show, yes. When it's we are playing music in the scene, I absolutely despise it. It is just dirty noise.
Has she done it? Yeah,
She did. It was like, "Hey, sis," and it was just generic bad music in the background.
It was like 4 notes, so I didn't even register it as really being anything.
It was awful. I hate it.
This part coming up, where they go back out to battle. Are there 2 doors? Like, there's one that has the broom, and then there's one to go to their transform the broom into the cycle, which I think I didn't realize or they didn't show last episode because it seemed like there was even another step added.
I thought it was just they go through those and they're already on their cycles.
No, okay, so they do this, they grab that. It's okay, it's not a door, but it's like got its own little thing. Then this door opens. Then they get in this door. Oh, then there's a commercial. So there is another step that they either didn't show.
I guess. And the other one, the other one they had their broom and they went.
So it's like go first transform, then get your broom, then this door opens. Now get in that one, which ridiculous and unnecessary, but I'm there for it. And also
I think they just grab it and turn. That's what it should be.
The tree comes down, going back to Batman, they had a cave, the old Adam West Batman, they had a cave, and the cave would come down. So that's another kind of makes me think of that.
Yeah. Korag's great. Let's get a lightning collection of Korag.
And I like that they did both plans too, the villains. They're like, well, okay, Korag, you go bring them and he'll do this, and that split the Rangers up, which again, why not? Why keep some of your forces not doing their plan? Just go do it. Yeah. And Korag is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, Korag's great.
I haven't seen Korag's full power yet either.
Oh, not even close, I don't think. No. I love this monster just willy-nilly turning everybody to stone. Yeah. Again, I don't know why we're not concerned about these statues breaking, but, children's show, Disney.
Maybe they're unbreakable statues. Yeah, I like her too. She comes in, she doesn't like deflect the blast. She's like, I'm just gonna let you shoot me. I can take it. Okay, anyway, like they're tough. They're tough characters.
Yeah. they've established very early in these episodes the escalation of, powers needed.
Yeah.
And with it being episode 4, I'm like, are you guys going to have like a super mega ultra mode by like episode 20? Because, geez, you guys are ramping up quick.
Yeah. Now this was weird to me. He unlocks a new mode because he's like, I'm not a jerk anymore. And he turns his super jet magic bike into a regular looking motorcycle. Look at the little thing on the front.
Here's the thing I will say, and this was part of my notes that I didn't write down but took mentally.
Yeah.
The first 4 episodes of this show are a phenomenal toy commercial.
Yeah.
Because they have a Megazord that turns into 2 different modes. Everybody has a motorcycle. The Red Ranger has 2 versions of a motorcycle that you need to get separately. And you have a villain that is also really cool that you need to get. And you got cronies that you should probably get in multiples.
I agree with everything you just said.
That's just stop there.
Yeah. That's been our show. No, I agree with everything you said. I still think inherently there's something backwards about a magic jet bike turning into a motorcycle.
Yes, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
It just feels weird. It feels like it should have went the other way. That being said, that bike is crazy strong despite looking kind of basic. And then my next note is so many explosions, many pixeloids just flying.
So I think what happened is the motorcycle is American only, and this is American only footage, and that is why.
Or you're guessing?
So I think because of these kind of seasons of Rangers, you can tell by the camera sometimes a little bit more, and also because of how these explosions are filmed.
Kalish explosions, yeah.
Yeah, Kalish explosions are very prevalent right now.
It basically becomes an episode of Kamen Rider. Like, see these guys, and even just like here, but then he's just like spinning around in circles, like while they're around him and stuff. Now, here's the thing. I feel like this is like 5 minutes long. Yeah, that's Kamen Rider right there. That's crazy.
Yes.
Kamen Rider. It's all of it's so unnecessary. It's ridiculous. And I was like into it because again, it's like over the top and crazy. But around here, I'm like, okay, enough. Until he does this and pulls out a sword.
Yeah.
And does, like, what? And I was right back in. I'm like, that was so unnecessary.
So the other note I had for the scene, especially when he enters in the motorcycle mode, is it reminded me, and I don't know if you or anybody else in the comments did this as a kid, but whenever I would have toys and I would do fights, I would do like slow motion shots where gravity just made no sense and had no meaning. Right. And like you would have like that bike that's like doing a 360 but not hitting the ground and like stuff like that. And it reminded me of like if you at a younger time said, hey, big dog, how about you make this scene? Well, he's going to come in on his motorcycle and he's going to fly and then it's going to turn and then he's still not going to fall and he's going to fall back here and then he's going to jump up again and do another 360, but this time he's got a sword and then he's going to do this wheelie and then he's going to do this and the guy not on there is going to block it with the shield and they're still going to fight. They're going to be evenly matched and then we're going to have to go to the Megazord.
I agree with everything once again. And it is amazing. You know what? It kind of reminds me of like the theory of comedy. Like it's a very Family Guy thing to do, but like other comedy of like something you do something and it's like not good anymore, but then it keeps going and it comes back around. That's how I felt with this whole fight where I'm like, oh, I'm into it. This is a bit much. I'm getting bored. Whoa, what the heck? I'm into it again. And then I started to lose me again. And then I brought me back again. It was just so over the top. And one of the things to help with that is throughout the whole thing, he's like, watch this, check this out, get ready for this. Who's he talking to? He's just advertising his moves and like it's just like ridiculous. And this part right here is the epitome of what you were just talking about, which is I paused it because they both sort of jumped up and Korag's up in the air. He's up in the air, right?
Yeah.
As he's coming at Korag in midair, mind you, he somehow turns his bike sideways, which you can't do.
And then it just hovers at the same level.
Rides on him, then shoots. And then he still lands and is facing the correct direction.
And then Korag is still floating backwards, going upward and not hitting the ground in any way.
I remember when we watched the first couple episodes of SPD, when Red got his powers, did all his Matrix stuff. I was like, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen on Power Rangers. No, what we just saw is the craziest thing I've ever seen on Power in that terms of that kind of crazy feeling.
Yeah, like in here, you see the same explosion 2 or 3 times in a row. Like if you're paying for it, I guess we're seeing it.
Yes, and the cape on the bike though, looking good. I'm loving the cape. That actually, I had a feeling I would like the capes this season, and I was right. And it makes me think for Cosmic Fury, like I wish they all had capes. We know Zato does, but I wish they all did.
It makes it more special, in moderation.
I guess, but I don't know. This show is not. This season is not about moderation at
No,
all.
not at all. That's why this is the gluttonous fan servicey season.
I'm into it. It does. Yeah, it
Um,
does. I don't regret getting rid of my bikes, but it does make me want some Lightning Collection Mystic Force. But is it going to be cloth or molded capes? That's a tough
molded.
One. That's a tough one.
Because I don't think they've done any soft. Did they do soft goods for Rita?
For Rita.
I don't remember.
For Rita, they did. Yeah.
Okay,
She might be the only one.
we'll see.
That was an
I have
awesome dismount. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Just like a kick off of that thing.
I think we'll get hard capes and it'll affect the articulation and people won't like it, and it'll be what it'll be.
And
But
then a third party will release soft capes that can be applied.
yeah, I think this part though, again, Nick getting a different power up, kind of cool.
I didn't think this is a power up. I thought this was him using magic. Like this is a spell.
Well, so when it comes to this season, when I say power up, I don't necessarily mean it in the traditional sense because they have spells. Every spell you could consider a power up. They're not all considered the same, but it's like, oh, now I have a reflective spell. Now I have a fire blast spell. Now I have this.
I guess though, unlike a lot of other seasons, it makes sense to me that they'd have these random powers because it's a spell. Why not? You know, and I like that they beat the rock monster with a mirror because that's traditionally how you beat a Medusa or Gorgon or whatever. So yeah, go with the glass.
And this is a thing that is making me critique something else in retrospect. Is the way they get spells in this is very organic. Whereas one of our bigger complaints at Dino Fury was we have like 90 keys that do stuff and we just have them all ready whenever we need them.
Yeah, agreed.
And somehow we still lose sometimes.
So they make them big and you figure, oh, they're going to do the same thing they did last time. But no, she got a new upgrade, I guess, because she forgave Nick and let it go and was a little more assertive. So fine, she learned her lesson again. Not the best thing, but it's something. Fine. And the new configuration is the actual Megazord they're going to do. I think they call it, what do they call it? The Titan Megazord, I guess?
Maybe.
They say it. I think it's Titan Megazord.
I think because whatever the base is like the designator. So like this one, the base is green, whereas the last one, the base, I think was like yellow because it was a dragon.
Okay, that makes sense. Good call.
That I don't know for sure, but that seems reasonable enough.
Yeah. But yeah, and you know what though? I was thinking about how there's definitely like size changing going on. Like I've seen before because the sizes of the Zords. But being that it's like all magic anyway, like, oh, okay, then it doesn't matter.
I will tell you, there's not really that much size changing because if you have the toy of this, they're all pretty scaled. Like where they can only fit a certain way.
Using all five, the Megazord should be gigantic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, still, like I said, when you have the toys next to each other, they seem pretty on scale with that. And the Megazord isn't enormous because it doesn't grow height at all other than the hat. It's as tall as the green is.
But if you remember, but the green is taller than the red, and the red was as tall as the regular monster last episode.
So you're right in the terms of scale of like they made red look too big last episode.
Okay, that's
the only real scaling consistency I can see.
This is also the first time they're in the cockpit. I like this cockpit. I don't love it like it's the best thing I've ever seen, but I like that it's different. It's got a theme. It's got kind of a magical glow. They say something about how
they're like, oh, it's like chess. We have to do our moves like chess. I'm like, that's different.
I like that, but I don't see them doing that. I see them still just doing the normal stuff, but it's different. Again, with a lot of the seasons we've been seeing, they're either standing on platforms or whatever. So, credit to being anything other than standing on a platform.
Yeah, it is. I do prefer them saying something like, I think my least favorite cockpit we've seen maybe Dino Thunder, because they just put their hands over this ball and all we see is that, and I don't know how they control it.
that I still prefer that to like the standing, like Dino
Charge.
Dino Charge is my least favorite because it's nothing. It's literally just nothing.
They're standing on a platform and it's tracking their movements.
I guess. If you say so.
That's better than a giant orb that's like this. That they're like, oh, we're fighting.
Because the orb looks interesting at least.
All right. Tell us in the comments which you prefer. The cockpit for Dino Thunder or the cockpit for Dino Charge. Yeah. And how do you like the cockpit for this?
Yes. And look in the background. This movie, it's hard to see. I think that's like a home movie somebody shot. Like, because they probably didn't have the rights to show like a real movie, but you can see it's like tracked in. Like digitally, they had to put a movie there. It's not just like a TV in the background. Like I feel like is that the actors and like some,
or it's just B-roll that they shot.
No, because looking at it, it was like they were in a crashed car, and they were like, I don't think it was necessarily these actors. I
didn't pay attention to it.
I couldn't figure out what it was, but it was something. The Dino Thunder cockpit, they did set design. They built something. They had an intention. It is ambiguous how they do it. And honestly, that make more sense for Mystic Force, like a crystal ball doing it, fine. But yeah, Dino Charge is nothing. And Samurai is like a notch above Dino Charge. You know, like it's just, yeah. But
for Mystic Force, which we're actively reviewing,
right, we got to give one of these
on the count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Now, we both did the same thing. We're supposed to go thumbs up, medium, or thumbs down, and I kind of went.
We are in between both.
All right, so we both broke the rules, so that's where we are.
No, it's not breaking the rule. It's a scale.
It's a scale. Okay, all right.
Because there were things I definitely liked in here, but there were also regressions from episode 3 that I didn't like.
Yeah, I've liked every episode. I liked 3 better. I'm curious where they're going to go. We haven't hit. This is what I said before. Like you were like after the introduction, it gets to this boring part. We didn't hit the boring part yet. We're still doing all the new stuff, and I'm wondering like, is episode 5 where the boring? And I don't know there's a boring part, but that's just usually how it happens.
Yeah, and there's a difference between like boring and less like engaging, I guess.
It could be a well done episode that isn't like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see what happens next, or what are they going to introduce now, or how are they going to. It could.
The lead character is going to take over an ice cream stand, and then hijinks ensue.
Right, and meanwhile, the bad guys are like, we're not ready for the ultimate master of evil to show up for a while, so just send another monster out.
Yeah, go bother them at the ice cream stand and hope that they can't guess flavors.
Yes, exactly. Well, next time we'll see what we're talking about.
We're definitely talking about Mystic Force next time, but how many, what it'll be, who knows? Not us.
Yeah. How could we know? Until the next time, when we're talking about Mystic Force, I have been Gazbot.
Still the big dog, and to the power. Ba-dong!
Badong? We don't do badong.
Ba-dong!
I took that back. It's gone. Try again.
Well, mine's still there. And to the power.
All right. Let me, no. I keep sucking it up in my mouth. I ate it. It's gone.
I'm just looking at my beard my beard now, and I feel so naked in that shot right there in retrospect.
Sick. I still have that vest I wore yesterday.
I have that shirt, and I think I lost that hat on a roller coaster.
Oh, I lost my roller coaster.
In your hat? In a hat?
Yeah, it's a magic trick. You know, you pull a rabbit from a hat, you put a roller coaster in a hat.
There
I was being too ambitious.
Yeah, well, you got to work on your magic. Your magic isn't rock solid.
And we're clear. He knows we're not clear. I always say that.
I know, yeah.
Now we're clear. Okay, so we could just talk normally, start farting, burping, all the stuff you normally do.
Oh my gosh, wow. The gas is being released now that we are off the air. Whew.